Here are some scenes from last week's episode of Love Relationships Real Talk. Oh my goodness, the drama that comes behind infidelity. No joke, that stuff gets people killed. Well, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to deal with this topic in that manner. That's one of the things that I noticed most in the emails that I've gotten in regards to infidelity. That people are all wrapped up in the drama that comes behind getting cheated on. Now, I've been there before, so I know exactly where people are coming from. But I'm going to invite you to look at infidelity in a way that serves us as an indicator that something needs to change inside of our relationship. It's a balancing act that happens inside of a relationship where something is happening to take the relationship in a particular direction. So the first thing that I want you to consider, the first thing I'd like you to consider inside of your relationship is addressing whether or not your partner is feeling dissatisfied in some way. If they're feeling dissatisfied in some way, you then have the opportunity to try to correct that or fix it. So there is some responsibility that you can take in rebuilding your relationship if it's deteriorating because of dissatisfaction in some form or another. Now, of course, this is a balancing act in and of itself because some things you can deal with and some things you can't. Some things you can do and some things you can't. So you have to determine that inside of that conversation and be honest and real about it. Another thing that might lead a person to being unfaithful is the lack of communication. Like that's the biggest indicator really. When the communication breaks down and you're not talking to each other, you're not being honest or real with each other, you're avoiding each other, you're putting your full energy, your every second of attention into another role inside of your relationship, parent, employee, friend. You're putting your energy in another place and not working on your relationship, not participating in your relationship, assuming that because you have that commitment, because that person has promised to be faithful to you, that you don't have to do anything else, that they're going to be there no matter what. We know that's not true, right? So you have to work on your relationship and you have to be open to talking things through and working out issues that arise as they come and being completely honest and open about what's going on for you in your relationship, dealing with any and all issues. That's why you should look at that video that I did last season about going on date nights and really putting your relationship first, because that gives you the opportunity to have these very, very necessary conversations about your relationship with one another. Another thing that puts a person in the position to have an affair is making yourself available to cheat. So for example, our viewer, is the wife making herself available to cheat? Heck yeah. She's going out with her girls. They're staying out late. She's doing it often. She's giving herself the opportunity to cheat. She's making herself available. She's not acting like someone who is a mother and a partner who loves and respects her spouse. She's not acting like that. And so she is making herself available to cheat. So this is another indicator. If you're observing what's going on in your relationship, if your partner is doing something excessively and taking important quality time away from you, then this is an indicator that they might be on the road to cheating. And the last thing I thought that might be a significant indicator that someone is on the road to cheating is if you are not actively working on your relationship. So this kind of piggybacks on the last one, making yourself available to your partner, but and instead you're making yourself available to cheat. Not actively working on your relationship. You're making assumptions and taking your relationship for granted, and you're not working on it. You're not doing what you have to do. You're not communicating. You're not taking time out to be with your partner. You're not treating them like they're the most important person in your life and that they have priority. You're not actively working on your relationship. When that happens, it's definitely an indicator that something is not right, and they have much more potentiality to cheat than not. Now, this is something that occurs very often, that comes up all the time when a person is confronted with cheating. They always fall on the excuse, it just happened. So I understand where that person's coming from. They didn't go out looking to have an affair. They didn't ask someone, then pursue another person to have an affair. They had an encounter, it escalated, it grew, and it budded into an attraction that resulted in them having an affair. So they are trying to take responsibility off of themselves for having done this act, and by saying it's not something that I was looking for. Well, again, like we mentioned, this is something that you actually promote or you don't promote it. So if you go out and you have an encounter with someone and you have an attraction for them, it is very exciting when that happens. But if you're married or you're in a committed relationship, you have a choice to make. You can either continue to feed that flirtation or you can not feed that flirtation. That's the choice you have to make. And if you continue to feed it, that flirtation and that attraction is going to evolve into an affair. No questions about it. So nothing just happens. We allow them to happen. Now, the third action step that I have for you is to determine if the relationship can be saved. That's very important because that's you moving forward. This allows you to move on and grow from this devastating attack that has happened to the trust in your relationship. If you can determine in your mind that you're going to work on the relationship, then you can take steps to make sure that that happens. If you decide that you're not going to work on the relationship for whatever reasons, then you are clear about how you're going to proceed in your relationship with your partner, given your circumstances, whether you have kids and all of that. You can make some clear-cut decisions based on that. But in any case, don't get stuck in the drama of it all that you've been cheated on. It happened for a reason. That was simply the action that happened as a result of other symptoms that were growing and festering inside of a relationship that was not working. Let's look at the things that actually draw a person into the situation where they choose to have an affair. It's a natural occurrence. The bad thing about this thing is that it happens after you've made a commitment to someone. Do you really think that after you've made a long-term commitment to someone that you're not going to meet other people post your love, the one you've made a commitment to, that you actually have an attraction for? Of course you are. You're human. You're going to meet other people that you feel attracted to. Like I said earlier, when that happens, you have to decide you're going to feed that attraction or you're going to avoid that attraction. You have to make a decision. So the things that actually happen in relationships when we meet people that we're attracted to and that may eventually even become our love is something that we all look forward to and that we love the feeling of. But after you've made the commitment to be with one person, that's not something that's going to happen again. And by the way, that's one of the devastating things about making that commitment. That's one of the things that makes it so scary and makes people have to like really wonder about whether or not they want to do this thing or not, and why it's really important that they're sure about doing it or not, is because you won't have these things occur again, because in your relationship, these things have already happened and you're not going to have that experience anymore. And now what you have to look forward to in your relationship is the continued deepening and strengthening of a true unconditional love relationship. And that's just as exciting, actually. Generating that type of love inside of your long-term relationship is just as exciting as those initial feelings that you feel when you first fall in love with the person that you're in a love relationship with. But the things that draw us in are sexual desire, romantic love, emotional attachment, and that thing that gives us the freedom to meet as many people as we want so that we can have these three things occur over and over and over and over again, is lack of intention to be in a committed relationship. One of the reasons why people don't commit to a relationship is because they want those first three things to happen over and over and over again. They want to have that connection with someone where the chemistry is just hot and they have this sexual desire for each other and they get to explore this new thing. They want that experience. They want the experience of romantic love when they first realize that they're really falling in love with someone. When that whole experience is occurring, they want that to happen, and it's fresh and it's new. They love that aspect of love also, and they love that emotional attachment. When you make a connection with someone special, when you make a connection with someone spirit to spirit, soul to soul, heart to heart, that is a very exciting time in our love relationships. But like I said, those things will never happen again once you make that commitment to your love. Don't be afraid though, because there's good stuff still coming. But that's what's missing. And for some people, that's unacceptable not to have those experiences again. And if that's you, then inside of your conversation about whether or not you're going to stay in the relationship or not, you need to be honest. You should not stay in the relationship if those top three things that lead people into relationships, or people want a love relationship, if those three things are really, really something that you want to experience over and over and over again, then you should not make that long-term commitment, because that's going to make you a cheater. That's going to make you someone who's unfaithful to your partner habitually. And you need to understand that if that's who you are. So I hope that helped. I hope that you'll be able to take those tools, a courageous conversation with your love, and work through what can be a very difficult time. But I can assure you that on the other side of working through an issue like infidelity in a relationship only makes both parties and the relationship stronger. So good luck. And if you like this video, share with your friends and your family, especially if they're struggling with infidelity in their relationships. And comment, please continue to comment and writing your emails. They keep the conversation going. And I so love having this conversation with you all. See you next time on Love Relationships Real Talk. I'm Phoebe Smith.